What is it, November 12th? Are you in the Christmas spirit yet? Because if you're not, you're gonna be. Jingle Jangle. What is up, Netflix fans? Welcome back to my channel. Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey is arriving on Netflix tomorrow. I'm going to tell you guys about this movie, whether it's worth watching or not. Keegan-Michael Key is in this film, so that got me really excited. Let's get into it. So an imaginary world comes to life in a holiday tale of an eccentric toy maker, his adventurous granddaughter, and a magical invention that has the power to change their lives forever. Jingle Jangle? What in the world is Jingle Jangle? I saw this poster, and I immediately thought of some of the Christmas classics that I was able to watch as a kid, and a movie that had the possibility, the potential to be that for kids nowadays. It's clearly something targeted for families, not necessarily for adults to sit and watch by themselves, but I will say there were some really heartfelt, tender, and adult-centric moments in this movie that will allow it to at least work. They may not love it, but it will work for parents sitting and watching it with their kids. But that's really what it's built for. It's built for kids. It has the magic and the wonder of something that you normally see in like a Disney movie, but it's a very different story. Does Jingle Jangle at least provide entertainment? Absolutely. It's also built and constructed in a very different way than what I was expecting. It has a Broadway-like quality to the musical numbers here. Yeah, that's right. We have music. We have all of the dancing choreography that you expect within a movie like this, and there are numerous songs. Maybe they don't stick in your head like some of these Disney classic songs do, or even some of the holiday songs that we know and love, but they're really well performed. The choreography, like I said, is exquisite, and the filmmaking, while it does somewhat feel like a Broadway show when it comes to these musical numbers, something about it really stuck out to me as refreshing. This movie is very refreshing. Now, it's a bit overlong, and I think there are about 20 minutes at the end that were just, they felt tacked on, right? The movie could have been over 20 to 30 minutes earlier. I would have been much happier because the film does feel maybe a bit longer than it needs to be. And when you feel the runtime, especially with a movie like this, that's definitely a negative. So it isn't perfect in that regard. And I do have some issues with the visuals, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. But in terms of the magic, the wonder, these characters, Forest Whitaker, who plays kind of our older curmudgeonous man, he had everything taken from him when he was at the top of his game, the ultimate creator, the man who could do it all, who could create anything. And then all of a sudden you have Keegan-Michael Key's character come in and say, you know what? Now I'm the man. And he really establishes that the first time you see him with a musical number that made me sit back and say, wow, Key is just incredible in this role. Perfect casting. Never would have imagined. Perfect casting for the character that he played. You have Hugh Bonneville. You also have Ricky Martin voicing an animated character that is also part of the reason why we see Forest Whitaker's character in the position that he is in. And they're not the best individuals, but at least Key's character is doing it because he wants to be the best. Ricky Martin's character, Don Juan Diego, is firm in his stance that he wants to be the only toy of his kind. That kind of sparks our adventure featuring Madalen Mills as the character of Journey, who is just phenomenal. From her voice to the fact that she has this on-screen presence that is almost a requirement for the role that she is playing. I loved everything about it. And it isn't necessarily a story that breaks any new ground, right? And it does have this steampunk-like feel to the location. You have these pop ballads, but also a few that feel like gospel numbers, and the choir in the background. And it's the mixing and matching of all of these different looks and feels, and the aesthetic of the entire movie is unlike anything you expect to see with Jingle Jangle, but it really is this musical adventure that takes you on a journey with Journey and these characters who are just trying to get Forest Whitaker's character back on track. It's a place that he used to be and one that he needs to find again through magic. Now, in terms of my criticisms with the CGI, it's not necessarily the CGI itself or some of these creatures and characters. It's more how the actors were responding to these CGI characters. And not to point out the kids here, but there were times where, they're having a conversation with a character and they're not necessarily making eye contact. They're kind of looking off to the side. It almost felt like they were just kind of reading the lines to read them, and it wasn't a back and forth. And that's something that I believe is a requirement, especially for a movie like this. So didn't necessarily get that. Again, the runtime, bit lengthy. It's built for families. I like the representation. I like everything about the concept. It's just, does it come together? And a little rough around the edges, but I think at the end of the day, for the target audience especially, it does. So Jingle Jangle, a magical adventure, a surprise for me, and one that I had a nice time with for sure. Definitely got me in the Christmas spirit a little earlier than I expected. This, Dash and Lily, we're getting some good Christmas stuff on Netflix. So thank you guys so much for watching. Before I give you my score, are you excited for Jingle Jangle? What is your favorite Christmas movie of all time? Going a solid 7, a 70% for Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey. Some nice characters, some really good acting. Forest Whitaker fit perfectly, like I said, Keegan-Michael Key, and just some solid elements from top to bottom. And it's different. It's different from any other Christmas movie that I've seen in quite some time. So appreciate you guys big time. Stay tuned for more reviews, and I'll see you later.